Media engagement is a really important part of public awareness and public education, because you can give 500 speeches over a 2 or 3 year period, but you're really, to a large degree, only talking to the converted if you do that. So you need to get out into that broader theatre of the media. Media engagement is not something that happens on a one-off basis or for a short term. I think there were a range of factors which drove the change, which caused the government to make the decision to bring or to let kids out of immigration detention. I think the fact of our inquiry occurring, I mean, human rights inquiries in Australia generate a degree of publicity in the media, and of course, because they require visits to detention centres and the obtaining of evidence from the Department of Immigration, they run over a reasonable period of time, and so that story continues to run in the media. When I say a reasonable period of time, the inquiry probably ran over a 12-month period. Then we prepared and released the report, which was another big story in the media, and so, you know, the issue was building momentum. At the same time, a range of community organisations were working, not in partnership with the Commission, but alongside the Commission, in advocating to have kids out of detention. And there were some very clever media activities, or activities directed towards gaining media attention to force the government's hand on the issue. I remember on a number of occasions there were people, important, well-known people in the community who were locked in cages on Bondi Beach or at famous iconic places in Australia for periods of time to demonstrate the impact that it was that detention was having on children. Now, of course, this wasn't the same impact. They were only locked in the cages for an hour or 2 hours or whatever, but it was a symbolic demonstration to the community of kids being locked up. And there were other media events and demonstrations. And finally, I think the political pressure got to the government, and they decided to reverse this very cruel policy that they had. You can bring a lot of pressure. When I say you, I mean the Commission and community groups can bring a lot of pressure on a government in Australia by ensuring that these issues are dealt with in the media. And so one of the strategies of our inquiry, I suppose, was to ensure that the issues received and continued to receive media coverage. And that was also the strategy of the various community organisations. I think media coverage of the inquiry and media coverage of our reports of inspections of immigration detention centres is important because of the political impact that it has, but also because of the community education and public awareness raising that it carries out. And it's hard to determine which one of those is the most important. I mean, one of the jobs of a national human rights institution is to put human rights issues on the broader community map. And one of the ways to do that is to publicise the concerns that we have about compliance with our international human rights obligations. And this was a particular area where those obligations were not being complied with, and so we wanted to do that.